That's because I'm not speaking. I have turned down the sound. Okay guys, since there are some watching, I can turn on the sound and go through some of the modifications I've done. I will do a big walkthrough now that the system is up running, but it seems to work much better. I've sorted out all the issues that I had on the two first brews on the system. But one of the things I've done, I have shortened the whole pump and valve rack underneath all the kettles by 60 centimeters. So I've removed a lot of fittings and made things much easier to clean, and the speed of the flow in the system is much better now because I've removed a lot of elbows. I think I removed almost 15 elbows from the first setup. So I did some testing yesterday. I only had one leak during the test, and the leak, which I said to Leo, was in the one of the valves for the main water source into the system. I haven't connected the hose. It's going to be here, but the leak was after the filter. So I've sorted that out, and that was the only leak that I had in the system. Yesterday and today I have installed and calibrated the load cell, which is underneath the HLT. So it's a 3-foot platform that I have designed and welded, which two of the points, two of the feet are static, and the third one, the third foot, is a load cell, which are connected to the PLC, and it converts the measuring in which it's fitted to the PLC, and converts the weight to liters instead. So I did a test yesterday with a 30 kilo load cell, which turned out to, I wasn't sure if the 30 kilo was a hard limit or a soft limit. So I tested that one. The reason I tested the 30 instead of the 40 is the size. As you can see, this is actually the 30 kilo, and this is the 40. So the 40 is much smaller than the 30 kilo. So I did the first test with one like this, and because I'm having 3 legs, a third of the weight is measured. So with the total, I'm able to, with this one I was able to measure 90 liters, but I'm filling the HLT with 105. So so this one maxed out. I found the perfect balance because the kettle have to stay on top on the same time every time, same place every time. So I'm going to make some stoppers in the rear of the platform, which will make the kettle stay put, and if I move it, it will always end up the same way. So but the way that I've designed it, and the points where have to, it's the same length between all legs, all three points, and they are staying just in the middle of the underneath the kettle. So I managed to create it so I'm able to put it exactly in the correct position, and worked quite good. So today I had to re-weld the frame because this part, which is the third foot in the design, have to be on the same position and underneath the kettle. So I had to move the rear mount of the, which it's bolted here to the frame. I had to move that further in under the kettle. So I welded a crossbar just to be able to keep it the same position. So, but I did that this morning, and I did a new measurement of the platform, and now it's working. So now I'm ready to do what I want to do, which is I will be able to just enter the volume that I want to fill the HLT. So in the beginning of the brew day, I usually fill it up to 105 liters, but I can dial in another amount if I want to, another value. So I just enter 105 and start, press the button for fill, and it will open the 2 valves, one for the kettle and the valve that it's controlling water into the system. So and when it reaches 105 liters, it will shut down the valves and close them. And I will also use the same feature when I'm going to transfer sparge water and so on. I just enter the amount, and it will. I'm just going to have today. I'm just having a cell, load cell underneath the HLT, but the plan is to have one under the boil kettle as well, to measure pre-boil and post-boil volume of the kettle. So I will not have a load cell for the mash tun, because I'm just calculating from what I'm transferring from the HLT. So I did a test earlier today. I filled the HLT with 75 liters. I transferred 25 into the mash tun, and then I was when I was looking into the HLT, the water level was at 50, and the level in the mash tun was 25. so it worked out just the way I want it. So I haven't programmed the part with the automatic transfer yet. So before I'm finishing up the last finish of the platform, I'm going to do some grinding, make it perfect, and also paint it with heat paint that can handle some heat, even that the HLT isn't going to be that hot. It's another thing with the boil kettle. But I will do a brew day tomorrow, brewing up a pilsner, and then I will use the load cell setup for HLT to measure my all my water during the brew day. So if that turns out okay, and I don't have to do any more changes, I will finish up the platform, and then I will just duplicate the design for the boil kettle, because I have one more load cell of the same type. So this is for the boil kettle setup. So I have been looking into using pressure sensors instead. It's much easier. So then I just have to punch a new hole as low as possible in the kettle and feed that signal into the PLC and just actually do the same thing. So I've been checking out on Alibaba on the internet, and are getting some quotes now for 2 sensors with the specifications that I need for my setup. So they ain't so expensive, but we'll see what I do. As it is right now, the load cell design is working good, but there are things like I have calibrated the HLT to show the correct volume when the lid is on top, and I always keep the HLT lid closed. So, but just a thing like if I hang the lid on the side here, it will show some differences. So I need to keep it like this to be able to show the correct volume. So it's quite sensitive for changes in both the placement or if I put something on top of the lid, it will show me another volume inside the kettle. So a pressure sensor will be a better solution for that, because it's only measuring the actual volume of water inside, not anything from the environment outside the kettle. So I will see. I wanted to test the load cell, because that has been the plan the whole time, and yeah, turned out great. Another thing, I'm still using. Just get rid of them. I still got 2 circuits. Oops! I stepped into a box with water. That's funny, because one of the things I've done and modified now is a safety feature, which will make it impossible to forget to open some of the manual valves, which made me spill water on the floor on the first two brews. So now I stepped into a box and spilled some water anyway. But I have changed all the output valves on the kettles with the automatic electric valves. So, and I've programmed a feature which will first, when I'm going to fill water into the system, when I press the button, it first opens the valve for the kettle, waits for 5 seconds, and then open the valve which are feeding the system with fresh water. So what happened earlier was that I closed manually the valve into the kettle, and I opened the freshwater intake, and I blew the silicone hose. It can't handle the pressure of the water. So this will actually make that impossible. So I haven't bought any new valves to be able to do it. I just got a lot of spares after redesigning the whole setup underneath the table. So I've got the same amount. I've got 14 valves in the system. I have kept 2 manuals, which are the one on the whirlpool and the one for the Hermes coil. The reason for that is to be able to control the flow when I'm transferring after mash out, transferring to the boil and fly spotch at the same time to keep it the same level. So those two will always stay open in the beginning of the brew day, and I will just adjust them during the transfer and close them when I'm going into boil, just to not have anything moving around during the boil, and open it when I'm whirlpooling. So yeah, the 2 circuit system for the mash tun. I can switch the cameras. As you can see, I've still got 2 inlets for the mash tun. This one is going through the Hermes coil inside the HLT. This is the main circuit I'm using during mash. But I have installed the Forlauf, SS Brewtech Forlauf, and the reason for that is that the flow for the Forlauf, if it's much better. So when I'm going to do the fly spotch, I want to compact the grain bed before actually doing the fly spotch. So I had already made, because the setup, I don't have the HLT here mash and boil as is quite usual, so I have turned it the other way. Then I needed to make a new hole in the mash tun, which to make it fit for the output from the coil. I had, this one is the original hole into the mash tun. So I installed another fitting there, and I permanently installed the Forlauf. And I've just created 2 outputs from the valve setup underneath, which one of them are just the Forlauf is going to be used for the fly spotch. So then it's just taking the water from here and directly out the fall-off. So no, it will not send it through the coil during the fly sparge, but the temp here is the correct anyway, so no reason to run it through the fall-off part. But when I've run through the fall-off and compacted the grain bed, I switch back again and run the fly sparge water during the transfer using the manifold. So because I need to be able to control the speed of the flow by the manual valve on the Herms coil. So, but this when I'm going to brew now, it's all those things are done manually, but everything will be automatically. The switching between the circuits, the fall-off and the manifold, and back and forth, that will be automatically during the steps. So I don't have to do anything when everything is up running as it should. So, but as I mentioned before, I need to get all the manual parts working before I can automate them, because I'm still using the same features or buttons and things, those things, when I automate. I'm doing the automation. So yeah, all the things I've done. I've changed the probe for the mash tun with a longer one, 25 centimeters PT100, instead of not the original, but the other one. I used this one on the two first brews, and this will just measure the temp outside the mash. So with the new one, it's like this. I measure it just in the middle of the mash. So I have changed the control now for the mash, for the PID. So the probe that is now controlling the PID, is the outlet from the coil. I used a probe within the HLT to control the PID earlier. So I have made a button that when I'm heating up the HLT in the start of the brew day, it will use the sensor inside the HLT. But when I'm going over to mash, I'm pressing a button on the mash tun, which will set the PID in mash mode, and then it will use the sensor output from the Herms coil instead, controlling it. So I hope that will make things a little bit easier when I'm stepping up the mash steps, changing between mash temps. So Philip, regarding the craft beer pie, I think craft beer pie has turned out to be a very good solution. I was running the 2.2 version. At that time, there wasn't a very good support for using electronic valves, which I wanted to have in my system. So if there are some limits today as well. I haven't looked so much into it regarding number of I/O ports, because that's the main limit for a system that I wanted to build. So I'm just, if you think of the number of valves I have in my setup, I have 14. So I know there are some I/O boards for the Raspberry which will give you 16. So I will, with the setup I'm running, I'm almost filling one of those cards. So I've seen some YouTube videos of people running multiple cards like that, and still and are able to have 32 in I/O ports on the Raspberry. But and there are been some big changes after Manuel released version 3 of the Raspberry Pi, and now I think he did something smart by introducing the plugin framework, because it's awesome to see how many plugins people are making for it. So I think Raspberry Pi will be one of the leading control systems for homebrewing in the future, because yeah, it seems to be much more mature now than when it was when I've used it. So it worked well, it's not that, but for a manual system, manual valves, and just for the electronic brewery part, Raspberry Pi is great. And I've read things now, people which are going from BCS, which is, it's kind of a PLC, the brew branded PLC thingy, but people are moving away from that to Raspberry Pi, and that, I think that's a good pointer of how good Raspberry Pi is turn out. So I think if yeah, I could have been running Raspberry Pi today, but I wanted to see if I could make it work with the Vago PLC, and the stability of the PLC I'm running, it's much better than a Raspberry Pi. I didn't have so many hang-ups on the Raspberry, but I had some few. So, and I also had to reboot things during a brew day. So so I've had one hang-up on the PLC, but I actually think that was the Chrome, because I'm running on the touch computer in the control panel. I'm running Chrome in full screen in kiosk mode, which will hide everything and just run it in full screen. So I think it was Chrome that it was messing up. So, but I just took a quick restart of the PLC, and because the web server for the control panel is running on the PLC, so I wasn't sure. But other than that, I haven't had any problems at all with the stability. So, and now I'm running Ferment Track or BrewPi for controlling my fermentation chambers. I have enough temp modules for my PLC to control also the chambers with the PLC, but I haven't done anything with that so far, because I'm very pleased with the Ferment Track program. It's very stable. I have 0.1 difference in the temp on the chambers. So hey, it's Brian. Hi Brian. I'm just testing some new features. One of them is the live dashboard. This is fed directly from the Vago PLC. And also I've been testing using my iPhone as a handheld camera. I found the app called Epoch Cam or something, which turned out to work very good. The streaming computer is wired to the net, but the iPhone is running, of course, through the wireless and worked without a glitch. So you're working remotely, yeah. So I'm just testing some things today, just to see that everything is working. Since there was some people on, I have went through some of the modifications I've done with the system since last time to figure out the issues I had. So, but I will do some. I will have a brew day tomorrow. I'm going to brew up a Pilsner to test the system if I'm there where I want it to be regarding the calibration, the control of the all the temps, and so I think I will start the brew day not as early as I normally do. The two first one I've started 9 o'clock Norwegian time, so I'm going. Yeah, I can try the iPhone test. If you just give me a minute, I will fire up the cam. And there we go. And I'm changing the output. This is the mobile cam, Brian. So as you can see, it works quite good. So all wireless, just streaming using my iPhone 7 Plus. So quite good. The fermentation chamber and the streaming setup. I've bought myself a mill. This is the Monster Mill 2, I think it was, and some base malts. So this is for my Pilsner. So the only thing that I haven't figured out smooth yet is to change the transition. So yeah, I think the program is called Epoch Cam. So it's the app down there. Just search for it on App Store. Epoch Cam HD. Yeah, I'm thinking about using a gimbal, so I just wanted to test it. So if it's as stable as it seems, I will use a gimbal to get a more stable handheld operation of it. So I I don't have a gimbal yet, but it's on my buy list or wish list or what you call it. So, but it seems to be very stable. So, yeah, I was talking about the brew day tomorrow. I'm trying to start a little bit later on the day, so I will go. I will post some info when I'm starting it. So I think I will post it on Instagram and also schedule it on YouTube. So yeah, audience always wants more. I want more as well. So the airflow, Tyler, it turned out very good after changing the motor for the exhaust and for installing the customized hood that I got built. I didn't build it myself, but a guy did it for me. So I needed to reverse the original to get enough air into the room. So I flipped the first motor, and it's sucking air into the room instead of pushing it out. So, but I still need to have the door open to get enough air in here. So, because it's moving 750 cubic meters in the hour, the new motor. The first one I had was 280, so it's a big difference. But with a 90-minute boil, I had a very small amount of condense in the bottom of the motor. So I just drilled a 8mm hole in the bottom and put a little box under there, so just to get it out. It was nothing, but it's better to have them have the water out instead it's staying in there. So but inside the hood during a brew day, I don't have any condense at all on the walls. Everything is going straight up into the channels. So I'm using 160 millimeters channels. So it's quite a good flow now. So yeah. So yeah, this was actually not planned to do a live stream, but yeah, Tyler, this is actually a room built inside one of my garages. I have two garages, and this one I've insulated and built this one in the far end of one of them. This garage is quite long, so it's 11 meters long, not so wide. So I created a room way in the back of the garage. So and I have three separate rooms. I don't have any cars in here, so, and that's not the plan either. So I have another garage where my project car is placed. This car, a Beetle. So, but in this garage there was not a plan at all by doing to have any cars. So I built this room just for the brewery, and therefore it's the brew table is built, customized for exactly fitting the way I wanted. The same as the fermentation chamber. It's built into the room, so I can't move it. It's there. So yeah. I will look into making the chat dark as well. Good point, Brian. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with the setup now. I think I have sorted out the issues I had on the two first brews. So thanks, Brian. I will look into the CSS code later today, so maybe I'll have a dark chat tomorrow. Awesome. So yeah, the brew day tomorrow, I will start quite late, not very late, but I've got a couple of friends that may pop up during the brew day, but I'm warning them about the live stream. So but I'm going to live stream it. So, and hopefully things are running a bit better this time. Not that it was a total failure the first time, but it's the test now shows that it will be more successful regarding to efficiency of the brew. So, and also as I mentioned earlier in the stream, I sorted out the load cell, so I'm now calculating the volume inside the HLT using weight and into the PLC. So I'm all, yeah. Bye, Brian. Catch you later. The style for my next brew is a Pilsner. So I have made some very hoppy brews, the two last ones. The first one was the supercharger clone, which are almost done now. So it's in the keg, and I've tried it some I've already tried some glasses and turned out very good. I used the yeast cake, the whole slush from that fermenter from the supercharger right into the black IPA that I brewed the last time. I kegged the black IPA earlier this week, and I tried it, I think yesterday or the day before. I think it was yesterday, and it turned out very good as well. A strong little bastard at 8.9%. So, and I brewed two cornies, almost 40 liters of that one. So, but I had some black IPA when I was in Barcelona on a microbrewery there, and it was very good. So not as strong as the one I brewed up, but I think the black IPA is kind of a funny brew, because the color and the taste can fool you. I just can't. It's fooling you. So, but black IPA it's kind of fresh now. So I need to give it some weeks before it settles and everything it's getting where it should. So, but I think I'm pretty pleased with the two latest brews, the two first one on this system. So, and the base from that, the things I've discovered during those brews are the base for the changes I've done now. I haven't used. I actually the modification and the rebuild just took me a couple of days. I think maybe 1.5 days. Not all day work, but some hours. So, but I've been away on vacation for a week, so therefore I have been kind of inactive in the brew house. So, but I'm back now and looking forward to do the brew day tomorrow. So, yeah. Funny that I've got some people watching a test stream. So, but again, wanted to test the feature, the new features. Hopefully, the live dashboard from the PLC that you can see on the screen is working as I want. I will get an answer to that tomorrow during the brew day. So yeah, but I think I will make me some lunch, late lunch. So thanks for hanging out, guys. So as I mentioned, I will do a full walkthrough when I've settled with the setup to show you how everything is working. So I did some brief walkthrough today, but I will do that later. But since I have changed quite a bit of the setup now from the previous one, so I just want to be sure that it's the way I want it before I do the walkthrough. But I'm getting close to where it should. So yeah, but thanks, guys. I'll post the info when I'm later today, when I'm starting the brew day tomorrow. A lot of you guys are not in Europe, so I will try to start it a bit later to get more of you online watching it. So yeah, cheers and see you later.